Now, on the activities in rivers, let us understand what happened in rivers. One morning, 27 lawmakers left their party that brought them into office and joined another party, and still continued to operate as if they were lawmakers. Section 1091G of the Constitution made it very clear. It doesn't need a court process. That when you were elected into the State Assembly under a political party, if you leave that political party to another political party, you shall lose your seat. It is automatic. Well, when they continued, they discovered that they goofed, that the man who instructed them to leave did not think through it very well, because he had disagreement with the governor. We don't want to get into what happened between Wike and Fubara. That is their business. But we are talking of things that will strengthen this democracy. When the law provides that certain things be done in a particular manner, you must do it in that particular manner. They have been running from pillar to post. In fact, they ran again in order to come back to PDP through the back door when they discovered that they have lost the seat. And indeed, they have lost the seat finally, unless they come back through another election. So when they discovered, they now went to court. They got PDP legal advisor to file a case. They have not left. The other party say we have not received them. No, that's not what the law says. You need not join another political party. Once you have left that party, one, to join another party, or you may decide not even to go back to the house or under any political party. The law says you have lost your seat. So this second attempt to come back to the party you abandoned through the back door will also not work. We want to see that judge, even when they have sworn to an affidavit in court that they have left, they declared openly on video, on television. We want to see that judge in Nigeria that will say they have not left because their name is not in the register of the other political party, or because they have not been, their party said they have not left. Leaving a political party that the vehicle you use into the State Assembly is a personal decision. It has nothing to do with your party. It has nothing to do with the party you want to go to. It has nothing to do with some other places you want to go to. Ever since then, there have been demonstrations sponsored by Abuja to create mayhem, to justify a state of emergency. And God caught one of them with explosive. And his hand was chopped off amongst the Abuja group that went to demonstrate against the governor. Have you heard anything about it since then? So we don't want to go with the impression that the government in Abuja, the federal government and the president, is giving tacit approval to what Wike is doing as a minister. I have said it severally. The president has no business to listen to Wike. You have given him a job. You have rewarded him for the manipulation he did in rivers. We have let it go. But he should not put fire in rivers that will affect your office as president. If the problem is about 2027, the person you should do business with is Fubara. He's the man on seat. You know it, Mr. President. You have been there for 8 years. You are the most experienced politician to become president. So you should understand it more than I do. If you don't know, Wike will contest against you, President Tinubu, in 2027. Take it to the bank. All that he's doing, forget about all these razzmatazz in Abuja. Yes, he has done well. He will run against you. He will run for president. He will leave your office. He will leave that office end of 2025 or early 2026 to prepare for his presidency. Why do I say so? I have on record 26 speeches made by Wike, which showed commitment. He had failed in all. So your own, President Tinubu, will be my case. That will be another regret he will tell Nigerians. I know what I'm saying. I know Wike very well. And he knows me very well. Wike will run against you in 2027. He should not destroy this democracy. Whether you did something to bring Fubara or that is your business. That thing was done in the dark. Why do you want to clean the stomach of a cow in the public? That's between you. Go inside and do it. There is always peace in rivers until the Abuja group moves in on a weekend. The place will be hot until Sunday. When they go back, there will be peace. So what I'm saying is the FCT minister should face his work here. He should not ignite a crisis in rivers that will consume all of us, including Abuja. And why I'm saying this is because everybody will be affected. When we fought for this democracy, when I was young, when I was in the trade union, my group, Wike was nowhere to be found. These are people who benefited from this democracy because of relativity to time and space. Today, somebody like him is now seeing himself as the god of Nigeria. He can abuse anybody, he can say anything, he can talk anyhow. You heard what he said about a senator representing FCT, a woman that is 70. He has no respect. He said worse things against Odili and Justice Mary Odili. Now he's facing the woman. She wants us to be friends. The woman said, I've never met you. The nearest I met you was in the Senate committee, and you sat the other side of the table. Who would want to be a friend anyway? I will make sure that she doesn't return to... Who are you to decide whether Ireti will return as senator in FCT or not? It is the FCT voters that will decide that. Anyway, that day of election, you will be in Rivers fighting for your own presidential election. Abuja voters will decide who should go to the Senate, not you, Wike. You cannot decide that. You cannot decide that. You are too little to decide who will be senator in Abuja. Abuja voters, they know where to go. They may decide to change the rating not because of you. They may decide to return her. It's not because of you. So please, act with decorum and respect. We know you have deep pockets. And that's what the consequences, one of the consequences of it. When a young man gets into a place and there's too much money in his pocket, he can abuse his father, abuse his mother. Leave Rivers State alone. Mr. President, we should be careful with Rivers. It may consume us and this democracy. Take it to the bank. Now, on national minimum wage, I wish to congratulate the partners in negotiation, the Honorable Minister of State, Labor, what's the name of this woman? Nkiri Konye-Jocha, the NLC, and TUC. They have shown patriotism. They have shown their love towards the country. It is left for the president to decide. But Mr. President, don't look at the advice coming that we cannot pay this or we cannot pay that. I'm going to address the issue of money we are spending to run government. Nigerian workers, apart from the military, are the most patriotic organization in this country. Because they're the people who create this wealth being squandered by politicians. So you should, Mr. President, look at that request with humility, with good heart. And for the workers, everything should not end up in salaries. I remember during President Babangida, when there was SAP, there was trouble like this that time. there are other things that could be done that will alleviate the sufferings of the workers. President Babangida gave 100 buses to Labour, 100 million naira to kickstart it. He registered LACON, Labour Bank. Those buses were distributed to all states of the Federation to ease transport for workers. And he went a long way to cushion the effect, of the structural adjustment program. We are talking of mass housing. When President Shehu Shagari was president, he built thousands of houses across the country, which they called Shagari Federal Housing Scheme. Those houses were owned by civil servants and workers. So what is the need of a worker? Housing, education for the children, health, transport to work, to make the money for you. So Labour should look at all these other options. Rather than every time we try to increase, I think we have to also consider that. So if Mr. President looks at it, he can adopt that Babangida style of providing buses, give it to the workers themselves, workers leaders. They know how to get it to the states. The states will operate it at minimal cost, and maintain the buses. At a point, they pick workers to work and bring them back. So these are some of the things they have to consider. And we should not allow, Mr. President, another strike as a result of delay in taking a decision on the minimum wage. On cost of governance, I think President Tinubu should be called upon, and I hereby call upon him to sign an executive order to reduce what is earned by every elected official of government, from State House of Assembly to House of Rep to Senate, and every appointee of government. Slash it by 50% so that we can have more money in the system. We cannot be paying these humongous amounts on monthly basis, and we think that money is something that can fall from heaven. I think Mr. President should consider that option. Let us cut the cost of governance. We are not talking about it. It is important. A situation, a lawmaker will go with about 16 or 20 million naira a month, Mr. President. Is that justifiable in this society today? Cut it between 50% and 80%. And that was why I have always said, if you want to be a senator or a member of House of Rep, you don't have a house in Abuja, and you don't have means of transport when you come to Abuja, go and contest for state assembly in your state. We should not be paying for vehicles and for cars and for accommodation for people coming to serve us here. There are Nigerians who are ready and willing to serve pro bono without pay. And they will churn out the best laws for our country. If you don't have those things, don't come here. There are people seated there with respect. They have not even whistled since they came here. They cannot even move motion of adjournment. They just sat there. At times you see the place empty. At the end of the month, they go with 16, 20 million naira in this economy. But we cannot pay 100,000 naira to Nigerian worker. Mr. President, the time has come for you to take the hard decision. You have support in the opposition on this matter, and heaven will not fall. These are some of the few things I want to brief you today. Thank you very much. And dexterity to effect Nnamdi Kanu. We have to why Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention. You are aware of the activities of terrorists in this country. You are aware of persons who have been negotiating with terrorists without the brief of government. And they see these terrorists all the time. You are aware of those who found themselves in the same agitation Nnamdi Kanu was involved in. Today, everybody is free, walking freely on the street. Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention. the Ohaneze Igbo president, Chief Emmanuel Nwanyanwu, has called for him to be handed over to him. Sam Bazuli before he passed on, he also called for the boy to be released to him. A lot of people have spoken during Buhari. But President Buhari, due to ancient hatred, decided to keep him and castrate him. Recently, the 5 governors came together for the first time after a long time to call for Nnamdi Kanu to be released. I don't know what he did that he should still be there when others are out of prison, out of detention. He merely agitated like others. They had to hijack him in Kenya and brought him here. But the truth still remains that ever since he has been in there, he has denounced all the insecurities, activities that were imported into the Southeast just to make that place uncomfortable. And little thing, it will be tagged to his IPOB. When the prison was attacked, they said it was IPOB. We came first to say no, because all the names involved in those activities at that time were not from that part of the country. So what happened? They had to start recruiting locals, urchins, people without education, without skill. They are now the one doing the operation for them. And then Nnamdi Kanu has said severally in court that, look, that he has no hand even in this. On Mondays in the East, there's no activity. So we are calling for the president to release him. But if you don't want to release him, bring him to Ego Square. Let's use him for barbecue. Let his enemies come and eat from it so that we can close this chapter. There is no reason why Nnamdi Kanu should still be in prison or in detention. The basis is because Nnamdi Kanu is a freedom fighter. There are other freedom fighters in Nigeria who were involved in even worse things, but are free today. Nnamdi Kanu was to be killed in his home. When he was on bail, he escaped. And that was the point the Supreme Court mentioned, that he did not join bail. Even his rendition is illegal and unconstitutional. So, if everybody that have been involved in the past are free on the streets, even Nigerians who meet terrorists on daily basis claiming to negotiate with them for some governments are free, and you don't term those people terrorists, why are you calling Nnamdi Kanu terrorists? Has he met any terrorists? You see, Nigeria is a society that things don't go the same way, different strokes for different people. Nnamdi Kanu's case, I have said it. It was that ancient hatred by Buhari against the people of the Igbos. I'm not saying it because I'm Igbo. If it had affected other tribes, I would say it. And I'm not ashamed of saying it. President Buhari had ancient hatred against the Igbos. And that was why he incarcerated him. Others were free. Now we have another president who can see things better than President Buhari. And that's why we are calling on him to look at the issue passionately. And there's no basis for him to be there. For how many years? 4 or 5 years? And the trial is not going on. And who is who in the Southeast has come to plead for him, even during President Buhari? He was just smiling it off. We don't bother about him. We knew his position. But we have a new president. That's why we're saying he should be released. And if you don't want to release him, I added, if you don't want to release him, let's use him as barbecue in Ego Square. Let his haters come and take a pinch of his meat so that we can close that chapter perpetually.